Hello everyone, this is Mark from GiraffePad, and today I am chatting to one of our fantastic users, Mr. Simon Calderbank. Hi Simon, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Mark. What a nice way to be introduced. Fantastic. Never thought I'd hear that word today, but no, thank you. I'm really good, thank you. Really good, and enjoying lockdown as best as I can. I think would be the best way to describe me at the moment.
Fantastic, that sounds super positive. Superb. So Simon, let's have a chat about what you do, because obviously you and I have talked a lot about GiraffePad, but interestingly we've never talked a huge amount about some of the work that you do. So tell me more about the type of training work you do and the business that you run.
I suppose the training work I do it covers anyone from young children. So I do a lot of work in schools and colleges. That's more in terms of the digital marketplace, teaching young kids all about digital skills and how they can get employment within the digital marketplace, which was thriving before lockdown. I'm sure it will thrive post lockdown as well. Work with children and young people who are on the edge of the sort of criminal justice system. So I work with them to teach them all about mindset and choices, that the choices they make will have a big impact on the rest of their lives. And so I was taking that mindset work. I look after corporate people, so business owners, their teams. And what I teach is a combination of positive mindset growth and development. And I lead that then into more of the traditional management and leadership programs. So anything from, I do like a bit of time management. So I do a good few sessions on time management, how to have difficult conversations, or what I would call the traditional sort of leadership and management work, which I really, really enjoy because it is powerful and it does work. But I get my most value and my most joy from teaching people all about themselves. So therefore, how their minds work, how their minds and their brains operate, and really how to develop a long-lasting positive mindset, which then allows them to then, I suppose, see the world through a different lens, different perspective. And it's powerful stuff. It works across pretty much anybody, but my ideal clients are usually within the creative and digital industries. That's where I sort of found myself probably 15 years ago. So I worked in that space. I was business development, client services. So I got to know that world really, really well. And it just made perfect sense because of my empathy in that space to go back in there and I suppose introduce a new version of me, which was the positive mindset coach. And so far, so good.
Really, well, it's nice and authentic because I think every single time we've talked, you're always entirely positive, a very positive growth outlook. So
it's the water, mate. I have a magic water from Macclesfield.
What you really show there. How did you move into the training arena then? So you mentioned you worked years ago into the client services and business development. What was the shift into training?
It was really because I had lost my mojo for what I did. I'd had my own business consulting, so I'd left the agency world. But what I'd done, I'd set up on my own as a consultant to go back into that world. So I delivered the same services, but through me. So I would go in and I suppose contract freelance as a business development consultant and work with the agency owners and the agency senior leadership teams to help them on their new business strategies and their sort of brand and their values. And what I found was I wasn't actually then delivering the work, whereas before I would find the work and I would deliver for the agencies in terms of winning their business. Now I was kind of delivering to them how to do it. So I suppose without realizing it, I was kind of veering into that sort of training coaching role, but I hadn't clicked with me. And then some personal stuff cropped up and kind of lost my love for lots of things really. And then was looking for something to kind of restore my faith in me. And I ended up meeting with a motivational coach, you could call him, business coach. And I suppose he really sparked me back into life again. And he was recruiting for coaches. And I just thought, well, I can do this. I get what he talks about. I'd studied personal development for years. So I'd always had an inkling for it. And that's what I did. So I literally stopped doing what I did, went on an intensive training course that went from 7 days to 7 weeks to 7 months. And probably several years later, I'm still learning. But now I deliver lots of different training and coaching, not just for me, but also for other training companies. So other training companies have seen something in me that sits with them and fits. So I deliver other people's training as well, which is wonderful, because it means then that I am obviously employed, but as well I learn different ways of operating, different ways of training, different ways of delivering. I also learn other people's material, which tests me and kind of keeps me on my toes. So I'm always learning, because I'm being given other people's material, which you need to understand before you can deliver it. So every day is a learning day. So I practice what I preach, which is great.
I like that, because I speak to a number of trainers who do work for other training companies, and sometimes they're want to do more of their own stuff. I like your outlook there, that it tests and helps you learn, because you're looking at other people's material and taking their slant on things or their direction on things, which is great. It's interesting as well. Most trainers I know, myself included, kind of almost, they never plan to end up as a trainer or a coach. It just seems to have evolved some way or developed through their experiences in life, rather than maybe set out leaving school saying, I'm going to be a trainer at some point.
Yeah, and I've got no letters behind my name, you know. And again, I've looked into that. I've looked into, should I study, but I would rather learn on the job, and that suits with some customers. Other customers demand that you've got those requirements, and they're not my customers, so that's absolutely fine. And I was never the best studier at school. I mean, I did okay in exams, but that's not my learning style. My learning style is to go deep in and find out as you go. But obviously, I do my research. I'm constantly learning. As I said, I never stop. If anything, I've probably got loads of reservoirs of information that I've yet to go through, but I know it's there. And sometimes your life experiences are probably more powerful and more compelling than the fact you've studied for 3 months. And I'm not, you know, people who study, that's absolutely fine, and that's their way of learning, and I have respect for that. It's just not for me. So,
with that in mind, what have you had to do to adapt to the sort of current environment that we find ourselves in with lockdown and everything?
Well, apart from obviously having to go online,
yeah.
Everything now is delivered online, and that was an interesting experience of literally having to look at your programs. First off, you delivered what you knew and hoped it would work, and then you would learn as you went, thinking, well, actually what I would do in a room sometimes just hasn't got the same impact on a screen, not because it's not powerful, because of the way you deliver it. So I had to just amend and I suppose revise my delivery style. Still have the same energy and the same authenticity and empathy, but just tailor some of the content so it became more engaging in the online environment. And that's taken time. It's like anything. It's the more you practice it, the better you get. And I always look back on my deliveries and think, that went well, or that was okay, I didn't quite get that right. So it's a constant evaluation of what you do. As I said to you before, every time I deliver a program I've delivered before, I deliver it differently. So I almost put the pressure on myself to make sure that it's as if I'm delivering it for the first time. So therefore, it kind of gets my excitement levels, my performance levels, to a place where I'm not complacent. So I'm not doing it with my eyes closed. I'm not doing it on autopilot, I should say.
Yeah,
so therefore,
you're very, very conscious. Yeah.
If people see, if they go, I've seen this before, but it's different. Exactly. A lady once said to me, when you mentioned that guy, I switched off because I knew exactly what you were going to say. And I just thought, that's really good. So probably the best feedback I've ever had. She went, and I knew it's a good story, but I'd heard it so many times before. I switched off from what you were saying. And so that will happen. But I took that, thought, right, okay, I never want to hear that again. Or if I do, at least they say, I knew that story, but the way you delivered it this time was very different. So again, it's kind of keeping me on my toes.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And so how long have you been using GiraffePad in your business now? It's about 4 months, is it?
Yeah, I signed up for it, I think, in November, December, because I knew I'd want to use it. I just didn't know when. And I had a potential customer, who was very excited by it. We gave them previews of it, and this was going to be a 5-day program. Well, 5 one-day programs in 5 days to all their business. So the pad was going to be instrumental. It would have been quite interesting to manage that, but that's what we thought. And then that business turned off because of lockdown. And then other online business came through, and I just thought, well, I've got this pad that I've not had a chance to use yet. I've trialed it with a couple of like sort of friends, and then I've had the opportunity to kind of really get stuck into it, and it's been really great. It's been really good. It's a good focal point for people. Everyone I show it to is intrigued by it, and not one person's gone, nah, I don't want to use that. Because why wouldn't it? Because it holds all the information that we talk about. It gives them a good experience pre-course, so they get the flavour of being involved in something. When we're in the course, obviously we're more focused on the content delivery.
Yeah.
But as soon as the programmes or the delivery's finished, I then spend about an hour uploading everything that we've done, messaging people, and it's great because one lady said, I didn't do it within the hour one day because I got distracted by my kids and another job came in, and I got this message, where's the stuff? Right, okay. So I know people warm to it because it's so much easier than sending out emails with attachments, or, you know, I can use my Google Drive quite easily. But then again, there's no branding around it. When you go into the pad, it's theirs. It's all about them. It's got their objectives. It's got the profile. It's got what they're going to find out in the program. It's got private messaging, objectives. That's their objective. So it becomes a really good learning platform. And I can see who's in it, who's utilising it. And yeah, I've really, really enjoyed it. It's been, I would say it's been a lifesaver. It's been a life enhancer in terms of the process. It's made my proposition more compelling because I've got something that I'm hoping not many of the trainers have got, but that's probably not what you want to hear. But it works. It works. Simple as that. It does exactly what it says in the tin. It engages. And it means I've got that sort of buy-in at a deeper level than if I just said, right, I'll be there 11 o'clock Tuesday, it's 2 hours, and then I'll see you on the Thursday. We've got that continuation, which is what I like. And again, with the customers, the delegates, as soon as they start screaming, where's the stuff, that tells me that they like it as well. So yeah, it's been really good. It's been a good advocate for the business. And people are now saying, oh, can we use the pad? So the customer, we want to use the pad. We want to embed our learnings. It's got to last. Oh, you're back on. But so you can see people, because of lockdown, because of what that's meant to people, it's changed people's perspectives considerably, and they want any investment they make to stick. And I said, well, I think that was one of the key reasons why Mark, the founder, and his colleague wanted to bring the pad into fruition, because lots of training was really powerful, but then it disappeared after 2 days or a week. People forgot what they'd learned because other things came along. If they've got a place where they can go, which is the GiraffePad, it's always there. And therefore, that means that the ROI opportunity for a client or an L&D manager, HR manager, means that they feel, well, they will feel that they're getting value because the learnings are always there. So it's just about getting people into habits of using the pad, and I suppose having it on at certain times so they can actually engage with each other. And it's got that potential as well. It's got potential to nurture friendships, relationships, business relationships, opportunities. So yeah, I like it. You can probably tell.
I love the fact you call it the pad. Was that coined from yourself or one of your learners?
I think we've all just called it the pad. It's like the pad. It's the pad, the GP. That's what I like. It's become. I mean, one client, in fact, yesterday the feedback came back saying the interactions in between sessions via the GiraffePad were excellent. So that was lovely. But yeah, people said, have you uploaded the pad yet? The pad, it just had it became kind of part of the experience.
Yeah.
I'm going to put stuff in the pad, so it kind of became part of the experience, which is lovely. Like another person.
A bit of rebranding for us.
So,
I mean, you referenced quite a few different parts of there, but if you had to pick out, what would be your favourite aspect of it, or what's the favourite thing that it does for you, if you like, within?
I think the fact that we can utilise Zoom within it. Obviously, Zoom has been an integral part of the business model. I mean, I use Teams, but I just like Zoom because I've used it before, obviously, all this stuff came in. So I've always felt comfortable with Zoom. So it's nice there's a Zoom application in there. So again, I can just send the invitation out from within Zoom, which creates that, I suppose, that whole wholeness to the experience. So everything can be facilitated. I've got it open now. I'm looking at it now. Everything can be facilitated from within here. I also like the fact that when I'm setting up an event, it makes me think about what I'm delivering. So I have to think about, okay, what's this event all about? What's the content going to be? What are these people going to discover? So it makes me think as well. I can't just rock up and go, I said before, I've never ever been keen on just turning up, delivering the same old stuff in the same old way. And the pad kind of gives me a little nudge to go, well, actually, it gives me a sense check. So it's almost like me going, right, okay, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, happy with that. And then I can then send it. And when people came late into the training on the boot camp we did, someone said, what's the pad? I was like, oh my God. So you invite them in from the bits they missed, and then they go, oh my God, it was great that I could pick up on all the materials. And it was all in one place, and it was all itemized under each event. Imagine emails, right? Here's event ones. You just get lost. So it became like a filing system. I can't really speak more highly than it, mate, apart from giving it a new name. But that's just me. That's just all. That's Manx for you. Always like to take a bit of ownership.
And for the purpose of this video, I should have it on record that I haven't paid you to say any of this at all, have I, Simon?
Good Lord, no. I really like it. It's made my life more fulfilling in terms of what I can deliver. I feel like I've got a little bit of just a bit of added value that if I hadn't got it, life would have been quite different, you know, in terms of it would have been through my Google Drive, which is fine, but it's very stark in there. You know, there's not much brand visibility. You know, the fact I could even rebrand the pad to my clients off and on. So I have one client that went through me, which is Big Nose. And then when I did the work through another client, so the training company, I could just change the logo. Now, it was a bit fiddly, but it meant that when I was sending out comms, it was beautifully branded to the particular job. So I even went down to that level to make sure that each job was branded specifically to that job. And I can do that in the pad. So yeah, it's great. Love it.
So if I put you on the spot and said, what one thing would you wish it does that it doesn't do now? What would you ask for? What would be on our list of development, would you say?
Because we're also digitally focused and also app expecting, I suppose, an app or an app version, I think will be lovely, because the only time I would go into the pad when I'm on my phone is when I get the email notification, usually in the morning, saying you've got notifications. And then the process of getting in there is lovely. But I suppose I'm just so used to having my apps on my preferred home screen. It would be nice to see the GiraffePad there as an icon, I suppose. So therefore it becomes more, and I think the clients I've worked with will probably appreciate that as well, only because we're also used to working with app-based products. Nothing more than that. It's just our habits now, and our behaviours. So that would be the one thing I would wish for, please, is an app version or something like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we're used to that, but we're also used to working on our phones and using our phones so much, aren't we? And certainly there's development coming that's going to make it even more user-friendly on the phone. It works a little bit like an app, and we'll be communicating that.
Oh, brilliant, cool.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Simon, it's been fantastic to talk to you and learn a bit more about your business rather than just the normal chats we have around GiraffePad. But so do you want to just let everyone know what the name of your business is as well? So
my business is called Big Nose. And it's a fairly pronounced maybe, but it's spelled nose, Knows. So the idea was it was all about the more knowledge you can acquire, the more helpful you can be to others. Because obviously knowledge is great, but it's only great if you know how and when to use it. So Big Nose was kind of born on a brewery tour. Friends, I said, look, I need to give the business a name. I've got really no ideas. And one pal went, well, I think, well, you never stop talking. I went, well, I can't call it what? He said, well, no. He said, but you're always asking questions. You're very curious. And then my other friend said, his wife said, yeah, and you've got a big nose, haven't you? I went, what? She went, that's it, big nose. I went, bloody hell, that's a bit. She went, no, big nose as in knowledge, play on words. And that's kind of where it was born, Big Nose was born. So it needs to go through a bit of surgery, I think, because it's been in existence now for 7 years. In fact, it's my birthday any time now, I think, when the business first earned money.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to rebrand, maybe I need to reposition my nose as something else. Who knows? I can't stop saying the word nose now, but yeah, who knows? That's who I am.
Fantastic. That is brilliant. I love hearing the stories behind business names. There's normally something interesting or unusual about where the names come from. Fabulous.
Usually involves BMA or liquid refreshment, I should say.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Listen, Simon, thank you so much for your time and sharing your the insights behind your business and how you use GiraffePad. Really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And we will catch up soon, no doubt.
Yeah, I look forward to the seeing the pad on my desktop or my home screen one day soon. Well, no, thank you for letting me know about that. That's great, and thank you for reaching out when you did. Your timing was immaculate. So, but again, that's the power of marketing. You know, you've targeted me as a potential customer, and I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you, the person, as well as you, the supplier, the partner. So it's been really nice, and you know, you kind of held me accountable over these last sort of few months in terms of seeing how I am. So you've took an interest in my business and my challenges, which I've really, really valued. So there's a bit of personal feedback to you. You're a good egg, mate. Egg. And I'm really pleased that we've got a relationship that's kind of come out from this. So I enjoy our chats, and I enjoy listening to your stories and some of the way how you deal with stuff as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Simon. It's mutual. Believe me, it's mutual.
One day we shall meet, mate. I'm not on a screen.
I know we've actually not ever met in person, have we?
No. You're my screen buddy.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks very much for your time today, Simon. Really appreciate it. And
I'll catch up with you probably back end of next week when I tell you all about the magical, crazy world of 90-day planning. I'll let you know how it goes.
Thank you.
I'll take care, mate.